numbers and I'm making sense. I'm interested in all that flourishes from ignorance. Nothing in my way now except for my own years. The world is spinning and I'm dizzy staring at the stars. They don't seem so fun. They don't seem so fun. I'm getting older and we feel a little colder. The world is trying to get us to trip, fall, roll over. But there is more to prove. These mountains, they can move. Sit tight, buckle up, we bout to hit our groove. I'm getting older and we feel a little colder. The world is trying to get us to trip, fall, roll over.
Welcome back to another session of IndieX 2025. And in this session, I will bring you Flickshot Rogues by Butter by the Fish. And this is a very interesting game because it's like a roguelike dungeon crawler, but also about, lining up and flicking your hero across the board. It's super fun, like turn-based tactics and kind of tactile controls. It's super fun. And with me today, I have the utmost pleasure of having two of the developers, Helme, the game designer, and Nick, the artist. Welcome to this session. Thank you so much for joining us here today. I'm very happy about having you here.
Hi.
And
Hello.
Hi. So before we dive into the game, and maybe I will start with you, Helma. You are a game designer at heart, right? But you had to dive deep into during your career into code, into art. So for a developer with such a hybrid skill set, where would you say that you take your inspiration from? Where does it start? I think this is a very complex and hard question to start off, but let's try it out.
Yeah, sorry. I just heard that there's an echo of for me, so I will try to mute when I'm not talking. So, I was a bit distracted by that. Yeah.
No problem.
The question was where do I take the inspiration from with a diverse skill set, basically. Yeah, I mean, like it started with me just wanting to build games, that was the core thing. Like, okay, like really early on in childhood, even.
Yeah.
Nick can attest to that. Nick and I are actually brothers, as you can see from our last name. Like very early on, I was like building games with Legos in my bedroom and stuff like that. And from there on, I just started doing the things I needed to have to build a game. So drawing, because I wanted to have art in my game, and programming, because without programming, nothing really works in the game. Nothing really moves. So yeah, it kind of grew from there. Like the starting point was just trying to make games, and then everything I did from that point onwards was like in service of wanting to make games and learning all the skill sets I needed for the game I wanted to make at that moment, basically.
Yeah, I imagine it can be. You have to go broad to be able, to put everything together. What about you, Nick? So you are Helme's brother, so this is kind of a family passion, you would say. So where does your drive come from?
And drawing is like the best, like among the best possible things to do in life. I love it. I love doing art. I love doing drawings, and I love doing all kinds of projects. But in the video games, it's super fun to see people play with your art, engage with it, see, like, play around. They can touch it, they can move it, they can do all kinds of stuff with it. And it's like, for an artist, it's like such a unique medium, because people actually look at your art for a long time and play with it and have a good time, which is like very rare. Like, if you want to do art for a living, like usually your art is seen for like a few seconds in a different industry or something, and then it's gone. But here you have it for hours and hours on end, and people do really, sometimes they really like it, and they it's great feedback, and it's really fun to do.
Yeah, that's amazing, and that's true. So you also have that kind of interactive layer in your art. So let's jump into Flickshot Rogues, and I would like to start the game. I mean, before starting the game, I have a challenge for both of you, which is in one sentence, so in the shortest way possible, how would you describe the game? How would you kind of elevator pitch, but in one sentence?
Yeah. My go-to pitch for that is always it's a turn-based roguelike, but with a twist that instead of moving your hero normally, you have to flick your hero across the board, basically.
Okay. So let's get started. I'm going to select a new game to show the tutorial, because I think this is a way of showing also the people what this is about, right? So it's kind of a pirate-themed thing. Feel free, both of you, to interrupt me or to talk about any kind of specific thing while I show you the game, right? So this is exactly explaining that, throwing your hero around the board. Kind of, this is so cool. So, and I want to ask you about the design choices of having this, like, it's a mini in a board game, right? It kind of feels that realism. And I want to ask both of you if this was something that came from the game design perspective. Was it unique that came up with this? Was a collaborative effort? Maybe starting with you, Helme.
Yeah. So like in the beginning, the inspiration was like flicking coins over a desk. I don't know if you did this as a child, like having drawing little like living golf courses on your desk at school, and then flicking, like using books as walls and then flicking the coins through it. So everything started basically with just walls and circular objects as elements you flick through the level. I started the development basically on my own with a lot of different prototypes, different like it was a puzzle game at one point, and it was always just abstract circles. Basically, you flick through the level, and yeah. So the circular elements came first, and the collision through the circular elements, and then when Nick came on board, the whole art part was added to that. And I think, Nick, we lost Nick.
Okay, but let's keep the conversation going, and when it
turns
back, we can
for sure. And then I didn't believe that it would work with figurines on the discs.
Oh.
I wanted to have like little faces on the circles themselves. But when Nick came in and started adding the figurines to the discs, and like everything came together visually, I was like, okay, yeah, it makes 100% sense.
Yeah, it makes sense
to do it that way.
So it was actually just to be flat, round, coin kind of things, and then
in the beginning, and I mean and that's the good thing of having like as a designer, programmer, brained person having like an artist come in and be like, no, we can do this. This can be way more pretty than you imagined. And to add all the art.
But yeah, it does have that kind of physical aspect, physicality aspect of it. And one of the things, and while we're at it, is talking about like how difficult is it, because when you're here, you have to go and
you have to stop there.
You have to go around and try to flick and try to see the best angle and all of that. So how difficult is it to balance the feeling of this being, just flipping around your hero to actually balancing level, actually level design?
Like it was a lot of trial and error. We tested with a lot of different sizes for the arena. We tested with a lot of different sizes for characters and discs. Many iterations went into this. So also like another thing was every time you tweak the physics a little bit, like how fast discs go, how long they move, how fast the deceleration is. Like they stop after a certain time of movement. Like there was a lot of fine tuning with that, and every time you fine tune that, you have to go basically back to the levels and fix the size of the levels. So
because
it was a bit tricky.
I can believe that, because the game has this kind of feeling that is also natural, and the physics are very real and everything is very real, but balancing that with sorry, I was checking here. You're back, Nick? Just to make sure that you are
I think
with
I'm
us.
back. It's probably my internet that's a bit shaky.
Oh, it's completely fine, understandable. So we were talking here a little bit about how the idea came up, and how Helme firstly wanted to just have like faces on coins, and you came up with the idea of, no, we can have figurines, we can have this way prettier. That was his words, not mine, okay? Than what was initially imagined. How did you come up with this? So why did you feel that kind of need to, have something else? Especially given so did you have any attention to the gameplay, to the part of the mechanics and stuff like that, or was it just, no, we can just make it look better?
Yeah, I mean, it's always both with video games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like making it look better, and it has to be readable, it has to be understandable, it has to be like, okay, people, like the players still need to understand like what is what, like what does move, what cannot move, like how do you move through the level. there we had some testing to do. So it's always like working together with like the technical side of things, see how the level is done, how the perspective has to work, how this and this and this works together, and then on top of this, we're trying to make everything like a coherent, beautiful aesthetics that people would like to engage with and like to look at. And for this, like characters are always this like big faces, this with some poses, some animations,
and very distinctive, right?
Yeah, and you're also bound to time constraints because like I drew everything, meaning like if you're just like a one guy working on the whole thing, then you're like very limited sort of in time, so you cut off certain things. You're like, okay, can we do that? Okay, let's just go with this character. So it's very, but for this reason we can have more, and it's more characters in this case benefit because would be if they're only the characters and these things.
But at the same time,
it's a sorry.
No. You go ahead.
Yeah, I always say like you always have to balance. You find a balance between like what's comical, what looks good, what you would like to do, what the team would like to have, because a lot of the decisions in the end are what would I like to see. I think that looks pretty cool, Yeah. There's like a long argument in the beginning, and then at the end of the day, you often make a decision like, I think that would be cool still.
Yeah. But again, it's as I was saying before. I'm not sure if you heard me before, but it does give a lot of the physicality of it and the art. It feels like a board game. In a way, right? It feels like you are again playing with the coins, and I think this static art, and quote unquote, because it has some animations, not very complex ones, but it does have. But this kind of visuals really feel like they are real. You are playing in a board game, right? And I think that is also very, very cool.
Just to jump in there, like that is also a lot of work that the third person in the team did, who is not here at the moment, like called Jan. When he came in, he did all the little wobbles and bounces and all the VFX work basically, and that also made it way more tactile and way more feeling real. Like for example, when you hit a wall, then your character bounces a little bit. If you hit an enemy, they bounce a little bit both. And these little wobbles and these little explosions and screen shakes and all this stuff, that's all his doing. And that also made it feel way more real and tactile and physical, basically.
Yeah, I have here, and I have to read you this comment because I think it makes sense. And it was Asphodel that said, like, can you please apologize on my behalf to the authors? I don't think people should play Flickshot Rogues. The authors somehow inserted something on the code where you play for hours nonstop and some big chunks of real life hours disappear while you are having fun. So I think that is a very cool comment that I wanted to share with you.
Yes.
And it's true because it's hard to feel like the time is passing. Now, before heading more, because Nick, I really want then to dive into the characters, their visuals, and why, their stories. I want to talk a little bit about the gameplay, about this roguelite and this aspect of the game of going and make your builds and have the choices. Why do you think this was important in this kind of game? Especially because it's something that is getting more and more popular, right? Helme.
Yeah. To get the question right, like, well, it's about what the the roguelike aspect, or
the roguelike aspect of why did you think think that so the original idea were the coins were this flipping around, so why did you choose or
Yeah.
why did you feel like the roguelike would be a cool addition to it?
Yeah, for sure. And in the beginning, like it didn't really click. All the tests I did, like all the little puzzle games I made, they were nice, but something was missing. And basically, the cool thing about roguelikes, what a roguelike allows you to do as a developer is adding a lot of different interesting mechanics and different interesting elements to the game that warp the gameplay and the systems into different directions, and then have the player experiment with the things, and then also have an end point at some point where you're basically finished with the whole build you're currently doing, and then getting to try something new. Because like in Flickshot Rogues, there are a lot of different little mechanical things, like different little abilities, different different heroes that you can play. And if you don't have this mechanic of resetting your build, resetting your game, then you are not experimenting as much with the different things we came up with the different elements. And basically, the moment we added this re-rolling and this restarting of the game to the core game loop, everything made so much more sense, and we could go way crazier with the abilities, way more different with the different upgrades, because we knew that it was time limited. Basically, after an hour of gameplay, the player will be finished with this build and try something new. And so,
and I guess that's it's way more fun to go and to experiment things. I think that is a way that you can also get creative yourself when planning the levels, when playing the mechanics, because you can explore things, and inviting the player to also have fun while exploring those things, it's also a cool thing. And
also we can. Sorry. Just to add to that, like we can also, this allows us to add completely broken combinations of items to the game that are very rare to get. But when you get them, it's super fun, and it doesn't break the entire game. Like I often find, like in some strategy game or something, if I find a broken combination, or like in a role-playing game, like I find a bad combination that is fun for half an hour to play around with it, and then your character is basically broken because the game is no fun anymore. And here, like, the game ends the moment it stops being fun because you won the game. You get a thumbs up, like you unlock a bunch of stuff, and then you can try again with the new thing and try to break the new thing you can try now. And that's very nice as a game designer to be able to allow the player to break your game without breaking the experience of the game, basically.
And that is pretty cool to have this kind of ability, and it makes perfect sense. Now, Nick, what I wanted to talk a little bit about here are the characters, right? So this is a pirate-themed, at least for now, from what I saw. I'm not sure if it goes more than that, but it's a pirate-themed game. What inspired you to draw the characters the way that you did, and what can you tell us about their story just for the from the visuals? Or if you didn't even think about it, they just look cool, and which is totally completely fine either way, but I wanted to hear a little bit more about your creative process on this.
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, we actually started out with sort of a generic fantasy theme, like way in the beginning. But we all thought it was a little bit boring and we needed something else. Plus, we wanted to have a theme that is sort of part of, like, that would really fit the gameplay and the way it plays. So, like, it should be fun, and I thought it should be colorful. So, like, I personally don't really like to look at, like, beige games or gray games or, like, this, color theme. So I wanted to have lots of colors, lots of stuff. So also should have been a theme where like the roguelike elements made sense. So you go there to get lots of loot, to get lots of upgrades. You go, right? It's a crew, and we knew it was going to be a team. So you always play 2 characters. So it should be like a crew that goes somewhere to do something, like a team, and they want to get treasure, and the treasure is maybe cursed. And it, like, everything was like the pirate theme totally made sense.
Yeah.
For us, it's also kind of fun, you know, like a One Piece kind of like wacky adventure. Like, I think it's very far from like a dark and gritty thing, right? This is like very light and playful theme, the whole thing. And this is sort of like with the sort of like the childlike elements of like flicking the thing and doing like physics-based stuff. We thought it was like this would be a good fit. Plus, the characters are quite small on screen, so like the heads need to be like, if you want to be able to see the face, because it's like very few pixels, the head needs to be big and the face needs to be big, right? Like, so a head might be like the character we're looking at now, the swashbuckler, is like an eye and a mouth, because there's no more space on the face. So like some of the art choices are made this way, just from like a technical standpoint. And then be the same, like if you're on a beach, who do you fight? I'm like, well, probably like an octopus and a crab. And then I look at them and I'm like, how can I make them look a little bit more funny? It's like a face is always good. Give the crab a face, and that's it. Here we are.
It's very cool, because I definitely see I definitely see a board game like this, right? I'm a big board game fan as well. Okay, so I definitely see this completely happening, you know, and the minis and the things, I totally see it, and I see that kind of wonder and fun about the game itself, the mechanics, the characters, without being necessarily childish, or I think you get what I mean on what I'm saying, right?
It's not like the Hello Kitty chibi route of like the Disney Channel, but it's still
because it's fun. It has the mechanics are fun. It has lots of explosions, and I like explosions in general. So I like things. I like dots. I like, you know, those kind of conditions going around, and trying to. I'm trying to play and trying not to suck while I talk with you, but I'm. Probably you are a little bit tricked about the way I'm playing this, but
you're doing good. You always did it, see?
Easy.
Not even So let's talk a little bit more. We do have time, okay. What do you feel it was the most, and started with you, Helme, and the question is both for you both, but starting with you, Helme, what do you feel was the biggest challenge while coming up with the game itself? Coming up or developing, or you know, in any kind of state, or if it's right now the biggest challenge that you're having, right? What do you feel it's the hardest?
I mean, there were a lot of difficult things about developing the game, basically because there were not too many reference games we could look at and see how they solved certain problems. And we ran into some weird things where we didn't expect them to be as complicated as they were. I think
can you give any kind of example on that, if possible, of course?
I mean, the one thing I would single out as the most difficult thing for me personally, because I had to implement it, was basically we tried to build it with the basic physics engine that are on the market, but they all did not fit 100% our need. So I actually had to build my own physics engine for this game, just so the Flick preview is perfectly accurate every time, and just so, like, for example, if in the same frame multiple enemies would collide with each other, in our game it's pretty important for the trigger order of items and for the way that attacks work, which collision was happening first and how they should be resolved and how they should bounce. And if you use an off-the-shelf engine, most of them just like don't do it 100% perfect. And I really wanted to have it 100% perfect, like every time. It should resolve every time exactly the same way. So yeah, in the end, we ended up building our own physics engine that is 100% deterministic. So meaning, if you put in the same power and direction of flick into the thing, it will always have the same result. And this is why the preview can work at all. Like in every other engine we tested, there were always like little edge cases where the preview was like a little bit off or completely off in like very certain situations, and it's very frustrating for the player and very frustrating for me as a kind of perfectionist. Yeah. I think that was like a kind of difficult thing to do, and like all the follow-up problems that result from having your own engine, basically. But on the other hand, a lot of items are only possible because of that. And for example, we tested it. You can add like 1 million miles per hour to the character, or kilometers per hour, however you want to say it.
Yeah,
and
we say kilometers as well, so it's fine.
Yeah. Okay, like you can add 1 million kilometers per hour to the protagonist and flick them through the level with like super high speed, and it won't break. Like the character won't bounce out of the level. It will lag as hell. Like you will have not a lot of frames for that, but the entire thing will still work and still resolve correctly, and that was very important for this kind of game specifically, because it is so like the physics part is so integral to the whole game, basically.
They are, and the game really lives about this mechanic and this physics. So it's very impressive, and it would be very important to get it right. What about you, Nick? What would you say was your biggest challenge, the biggest challenge that you have encountered while working, developing, thinking about the game and about the art of the game?
For me, I think the biggest challenge for me was to figure out what would look good for this game specifically. Good, weird, which you can no longer see, like the way the perspective works. How you will like look on, like you can always see all the lines where you can collide with, like in the level of the geometry, for example.
Yeah.
And so the perspective on this like 3D element of the arena is actually really strangely forced. Like in the game you can't see it, but if you were to look at it from the side, it's like super long. It's like a massively long, it looks like a skyscraper from the side.
Oh.
And it's just like, so you can always look into the level from like each angle. And like figuring out how the 2D elements like work with this, because in the beginning, like some of the tests we did, they just looked so weird, and it's just bad. It just was a bad look. This I had to figure out, because I'm not technical. Like I'm not this technical guy. I can't program anything to save my life. So I'm just trying to figure out how to like draw faces on like characters. And then it's like, you have to also make it look in the engine. It has to look good. I'm like, oh Jesus, no, I cannot do this.
I was defeated. I'm sad now.
Yeah.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, but yay! I reached level 2. Again, I tried. I didn't want to go too deep into the game because I wanted to discuss this with you, and I wanted to, to figure out things while I play and while I'm here with you. Yes, it is already wishlisted. So you have here lots of different characters that are definitely going to be up on the full thing, but let's talk about both of them, right? I will say it. Klabauterman.
Yeah, perfect.
No, that should be something like this, and Swashbuckler. Is that their names?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the names.
Okay. Tell me, Nick, who are these characters? And how did you come up with them? And why do they look so cool? And again, I want minis of them. I really want minis.
Nice.
Of them.
Sweet. Thank you. Actually, all of them have a little bit of a different story. So, like the first character, like the swashbuckler, was in the beginning it was like just a generic hero guy, had red hair, so like it would have good contrast but looked a little bit boring. And then when we went to the pirate theme, we needed a character who would be a captain, and we already knew we had a character with a sword and like the most basic mechanics, so like players who start the game won't be overwhelmed with the different kind of mechanics. So it's like, okay, we need basic sword guy. And this is what I was like, okay, how can I do a basic sword guy that's kind of funny? And I'm seeing like what kind of attitude would basic sword have? And it was like, and I was thinking about like a character who's always confident, always overconfident, like I know what I'm doing all of the time. So with the characters this small, you can't really have too many facial expressions.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, each character gets one. Just one character expression. What happens in the game, just this is always your attitude. Like this guy's always like confident. And then when I drew them, what happened was like in my head it was just like basic captain guy. But then like I showed it to lots of different people. It's like, oh my god, I love her so much. She's such a cool character. And it's like, okay, her. And then so like I didn't want to disabuse anyone of the notion. Like when you draw something in general and someone has a positive reaction to it, don't correct them. Like this is my it's like I drew her to be like a cool girl. And then they were like, okay, cool. And then some other was like, oh, this guy, he's so cool. It's like, yeah, very cool. And then I just left it like this. I was like, perfect.
Okay.
I'm just gonna leave it like this exactly. And then the Klabautermann is like a German folklore for like a ghost on a ship. It's like who brings you good luck or bad luck. And we had it in the beginning, it was just like a temporary title. We were like, oh, Klabautermann, we just put it in because it's a funny name. And then we just left it. We completely forgot about it. And then we released the demo. And we had, for the first time, internationals trying to, like, they looked at the name, they're like, what is that? And then they totally couldn't. And we're like, this is also funny. We're going to keep it. But we knew this guy was, like, crazy. Like, he's all about, like, explosions and hitting everyone around him. And so I gave him, like, a hammer with an axe that has, like, a explosion-powered thing, like... And I thought, like, if he has, like, an exploding axe, he should be crazy. And so I drew him, like, always kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it does look like it's crazy. Again, the explosions may have something to do with that. But you mentioned here something about, like, German folklore. So when you said that this was firstly a generic fantasy thing, but it came up with pirates, so you went and tried to get some kind of inspiration in other themes, in other ways. And starting with you, Nick, and then with you, Helme, I wanted to ask what was the creative process to tell the story of these characters, even if it's just a visual way, even if it's just a mechanical way, because it does tell something about them, right? And how did you build this story together? Starting with you, Nick, and then Helme, you can take it away. I'm not sure if it's...
No, I got it. I think I was always looking for... It's sort of like starting out with some basic idea. You always start with like a simple something needs to be in the game first, right?
Right.
So it's like we have to build something that you can play around with just to see what it's like, just to see what it feels like. And then when you play it and you feel like, I think this kind of guy would be this kind of a thing. Like, I think this thing would fit for this. Or like you show it to people and they have a certain reaction. And whatever emotional reaction someone has, I'm like, you're basically just correct. Right? Like when someone looks at it, it's like, I think this is cool. Or like, I think this would be funnier if this would be like they laugh at a certain element. There's a Frogomancer character. It's like, so you can pick up frogs. Like the moment, like everyone reacted very positively about picking up frogs. There was something just like frog magic, and it was like, okay, let's just lean into this. Like the moment we had the reaction, it was positive. We was like, let's just give them more frogs and see if they still like it. Yes. And then they loved picking up the frogs. And I was like, okay, we have a whole. Let's just make a character that's about picking up frogs. And this was like mostly like just a fun idea in the moment. Let's see how it works, and if people have a good reaction to it, just like put it in. Just that's perfect. That's good enough.
Right.
I mean, there's like an overall story for the game, but this was like just you have to go to the top of the island, defeat the big bad guy, get the big treasure, just as like a scaffolding for everything else to happen.
Right. And you mentioned something before kicking to you, Helme. You mentioned you kind of think about, in terms of these characters, at least you think, okay, let me try something like the sword captain. Let me try something and come up with some sketches or with some visuals, and then when asking for people, go from there and developing their personality, their backstory, their vibe in general. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
we usually start with gameplay, I would say. Like we knew what role the character would fill in the game, and then I would go in and say, okay, if this is the role, let me start sketching some stuff. And then show the sketches to people and see how they react to the sketches. And I say, hey, this is cool. Or like, maybe we should have this. Or like, do you think this would work? And then develop it further and then start putting it in.
And now about you, Helme. Sorry, I took.
All good. Yeah. I mean, from my side, from the game designer's perspective, basically, I think you have to swap characters so your character stops burning. Just as a hint.
Sorry, can you say that again?
Sorry, you ignited your own character, so if you don't swap your hero, I think you might die.
Okay, thank you.
You took the upgrade that can ignite your own character, but fire does more damage. Which is like one of the fun risk-reward items we added to the game.
I do have a thing for explosions and for fire, and I'm going to die again, aren't I?
Maybe it will work out. Yeah. But game design wise, I was like I always started with the game design need I had, and then from there on gave it to Nick and asked Nick what he was thinking about it and like what kind of character could we make. For example, with the Klabautermann, basically I built a character that a hero that just does this round hit area damage, and then I was like, okay, this is the thing that needs something to be skinned over it to be cool. And Nick's challenge is basically taking my strange designs or the designs that I come up with, or we come up with as a team sometimes as well. Like it's not like I have all the ideas and no one else gives input, and it's not like Nick has all the ideas for the characters and no one else gives input. It's always like design meetings and brainstorming and so on. But like in general, like where the tasks for the different person lie is basically that I design some characters, some items, something that needs a flavor, and then Nick comes up with a flavor, or we as a flavor, how could we represent it? Because like the way that you represent it is also the way the player interacts with it and the player understands it and picks it up. Like there's this concept in game design called piggybacking, where you're taking a thing that already exists and put it together with the gameplay and the fact that the player already has an emotional connection to it and knows how it works, basically, helps them understand how it will work in the game.
Amazing. So we still have a couple of minutes, and I wanted to use these minutes to ask both of you if there is something that you would like to stress about your work or about the game before the last messages. Nick, maybe starting with you.
I mean, to stress to the player about the game, or in general, like
in about the game, about the studios, about your work, anything that you would like to highlight, you know.
Me, I'm just like super happy we did the game, finished it. It was the first game we ever made. We made a new studio with my brother and a friend, right? It's like a bit of it's a very personal journey. Right. And it's like, this is also like, this being my first game, kind of throughout the way, like along this way, not knowing what the hell I was doing. Oh. It's like, what? Like, I don't know. I'm not a professional. There's no professional involved here. Like, what am I doing? Trying to figure out, like, learning so much, making so many connections with different peoples, with like deepening connections with friends, with my brother, with like the people along the way. Like, so many people helped out, like friends, people you get to meet. Everyone was super cool with it. I mean, it was also really challenging and tough with the funding and the scheduling because of funding. It's like, oh, when do you have to finish? How much money do we have? Like, there's like a lot of back and forth that makes it hard, but we sort of like did it. And like, happy with the fact that we did. And then it's like, great to see like how many people played it and seeing like how many hours in general they played. Yeah. Like, this was the own home, like in your bedroom, you sit there and your own little game. And we were at Gamescom showing it to people. I saw people play the game and I was like, what are you doing with the game from my bedroom? Like, it's like a very strange thing, like why someone is playing it. My thing I've been doing like by myself for you know. I think that's from the game itself, like a big takeaway. And it's like, I'm very proud of having done the whole thing.
You should be. It's a pretty amazing thing, and congratulations on your first game, right? It can be scary, but it's certainly amazing, and you should be proud. What about you, Helme? Any last thoughts, key takeaways, anything that you would like to highlight?
Yeah, like Nick said, it's like really great having the opportunity to found an around studio, doing it with my brother and a long friend, basically. It also, this project was like a pet project for me personally. Like, unlike Nick, I'm in the games industry for 13 years now, I think, and basically through all the time I was tinkering with this idea and with the engine, with the physics engine on the back burner, like whenever I had a bit of free time, or when the job allowed it, basically, while working for like bigger projects at companies. And I was always thinking, okay, at some point, like I always had this I will age myself a bit with this, but I always said to myself, when I turn 30, I want to build this game for real. And basically, and basically that's what I did. Like when I turned 30, I started with a thing. Asked Nick, asked the third person in the team if they wanted to join, and it somehow worked out way better than expected in the beginning. I was like, let's just make a small thing, release it for free. It will probably be janky, and then it grew, and everyone was like super professional and super talented. And the small thing I started as like this weird little pet project, like grew to a real actual game that people can play and people enjoy. And basically having the release something and having players play it and tell us that it's fun, like creating something that makes someone's day a little bit better, is like such a
Yeah.
privilege.
And that is something that you three, I'm talking to the three of you, although only two of you are here, and this is something that it really shows how much passion you put into this project, how much detail, how much it really shows. And I think this is why the game is so fun, and I think this is why the game resonates with so many people. So I would like to thank you once again for joining me here today, Helme and Nick,
Thanks so much for having us.
Talking a little bit about
you're very welcome,
Flickshot
Anna.
Rogues. It was really a pleasure to hear a little bit more, and I would definitely recommend everyone to wishlist it on Steam and to show some love, because this game is amazing. Thank you so much, Helme. Thank you so much, Nick.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
We're going now for a short break before our next game, which is going to be Tiny Kingdom. So stay tuned and don't go anywhere.